Hello and welcome to episode 120 of the How to Survive podcast. My name's Joe. Joining me as ever is Chris.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are in order.
Yes.
You are married.
Yes. She's a lucky girl.
She is.
Yeah, congratulations to her.
Yeah. Yeah. Commiserations.
Yeah. Well done on your speech.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You were one of the best men at the wedding.
Yeah, one of the best men.
Yeah. After me, who was the best man.
Great.
Yeah, obviously we're recording this in advance, so that it might have gone badly. It would have been like the red wedding.
Yeah, this might be the last podcast you ever hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have dug up something so toxic to your life.
And read that out.
Yeah.
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 Here's a letter Joe wrote when he was 15.
What's the worst thing that I could uncover?
The worst thing you could uncover?
Maybe a box of VHS tapes
Yeah.
with your paranormal activities of your childhood.
Yeah, hope those don't come up. Now, the thing is about that, this week is Paranormal Activity 3.
It's not, is it?
Yeah, it's the third in our Paranormal Activity series where we talk about Paranormal Activity, the film franchise.
Do you know what I've just realised, by the way, recently, is that we keep saying throughout all these Paranormal Activity discussion episodes that there are 5 Paranormal Activity films. There aren't. There's 6.
Is there?
Yeah.
Good.
Halfway through.
I was looking through Netflix because this is available on Netflix.
Yeah.
A little thing called Netflix. I don't know if you've heard of it. Paranormal Activity 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The Ghost Dimension. The marked
there's
ones.
Paranormal Activity 4.
Then the Ghost Dimension.
No, then the marked ones, then the Ghost Dimension. The Ghost Dimension is the most recent one that I'd forgotten about completely.
Wow.
And the marked ones is technically a spin-off.
We're going to talk about Paranormal Activity 3 and probably the other 2 and maybe some of the future ones.
Yeah.
If you care enough, then go away and watch it on Netflix.
Wouldn't want it spoiled.
No. Although they did that by making it. Now, we're going to go ahead and we'll recap the plot after this trailer. We'll play it in a few seconds. And then we'll discuss at length what we liked and didn't like about it. And then we'll talk about how we would survive.
Sure.
If we were unfortunate enough to find ourselves living in the 1988 California valleys where this film is set.
With in houses with the most confusing layout that you could imagine.
Yep. So, stay tuned. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
All right, here we go. Hey, ladies. Hi. Hey. Oh, it's Katie. Woo-hoo-hoo. Katie, wave hi to the camera, Katie. Hey, Christy, you want to say hi? Come on, give us a wave here, Christy.
Whatever happened to us when we were little, I don't remember anything.
Whatever it was, it thrived on fear. The more we paid attention to it, the worse it got.
Okay, I think it's on. Remember the rules? Yes. Say Bloody Mary 3 times. Okay, I'm gonna turn off lights. Okay, ready? Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. I'm scared. Stop! I'm sorry. It's not funny.
Scenes from the trailer may not be featured in the theatrical release.
Is that in the trailer? Or is that just like your general...
That trailer that I showed you earlier,
that wasn't... Yeah.
That's not in the film.
No, I know.
Obviously. Yeah.
I've seen the film.
Right. Oh, what were you saying?
Was that at the bottom? Like,
no,
may not
it's not.
contain real gameplay.
No.
Like,
consult your doctor before taking Paranormal Activity 3. Some scenes may not be included in the theatrical release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terms and conditions apply.
Terms and conditions apply.
Right. On with the recap. In previously unseen clips from before and during the events of Paranormal Activity 2.
The tone of your voice already. So much disdain straight away. Oh, great.
Let me have another go.
Strap yourselves in, listeners. Here we go. Exciting times again. Ariel Schumann and Henry Just's Paranormal Activity 3, giving it the chutzpah that it deserves. Joe Sherville, newly married. Here he goes. Plot recap. Take it away, Joe.
In previously unseen clips from before and during the events of Paranormal Activity 2, we find that Katie leaves a box of old home movies at her sister Christie's house.
Yeah.
Now,
of course, now that scene was excised from Paranormal Activity 2 because it was
too boring.
No, it ruined the reveal that Katie was the sister, which of course happened about halfway through the film.
Yeah.
And of course, the break-in is the first thing that happens in Paranormal Activity 2.
Yeah.
So chronologically, that wouldn't have made sense. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a decision taken by a creative editor to preserve the narrative flow of the film.
Yep.
Which ruins the fact that the previous film opened with a dedication to the dead families, with a dedication to the families of those people who had died in the supposed documentary Paranormal Activity 2. Paranormal Activity 3 does not open with any such claim.
No, it does not. One scene has the one sister saying, you're painting here. And she says, yeah, I'm painting because I'm having a baby.
Right.
And she says, oh, can I leave some videotapes in your basement? Mm. She leaves the videotapes in the basement.
Yeah.
And then the big haunting happens.
Yeah.
And then the videotapes have gone missing.
Yeah. Maybe they were being stored in a church or something before.
One of the videotapes inexplicably begins playing, despite apparently being missing. It's 1988 now, and Christy and Katie are children. Katie is celebrating a birthday, and we learn that Christy has an imaginary friend named Toby. The girls live with their mother, Julie, and her boyfriend, Dennis, is a wedding videographer, and so, of course, he films literally everything that takes place in his house across a period of several weeks.
Mm. In fairness, he is filming at the start because it's a birthday party.
Yep.
Then he tries to make a sex tape.
Yep.
Which is disrupted by an earthquake where the dust falls on a spectral presence, which motivates him to film
the rest of the
from
house.
that point onwards.
So you think it's all kosher?
No, I didn't say that.
You said a concession to storytelling has been made.
Yeah.
All right.
No one wants to watch 90 minutes of a black screen.
During the weeks he films, Dennis and Julie try to have sex on camera, but are interrupted by an earthquake.
They're not, are they?
The earthquake causes some dust to fall from the ceiling, which appears to reveal a hidden presence in their room.
Right. It's some kind of spectral presence, you might say.
Elsewhere in the house, strange goings-on begin to occur.
Yeah.
Christy appears to be in near continual communion with the imaginary friend Toby, who appears to be torturing Katie and generally making life stressful and upsetting for both girls. Dennis sees this on the videotapes and brings in the help of his friend Randy. Randy is shocked and tells Dennis to tell Julie, but Dennis refuses, saying he doesn't want to worry her.
Do you know William Shakespeare appears in this film?
Yeah?
In a cameo role.
Go on.
Yeah, as Toby. Or not Toby. The look of quiet fury on your face.
The goings-on keep ramping up, with the presence we now assume to be Toby becoming increasingly malevolent. He scares a babysitter named Lisa by dressing up in a sheet and then blowing in her face. He then scares Randy by scratching his chest during a game of Bloody Mary, which, if you don't know what that is where you stand in front of a mirror, turn the lights off and say Bloody Mary 3 times. I think other cultures would say Beetlejuice or Candyman.
Right.
And the idea is that you turn the light on and it's quite scary. It's all scary. It's all fun and games till someone gets scared, basically. Julie has up till now been entirely sceptical of Toby and admonished her children for every mention of him, thinking that they're just being hysterical. However, she now sees the entire kitchen's appliances and furniture on the ceiling of the kitchen, and then it all falls down, and she says, "Oh, yeah, maybe we are being haunted after all."
Sure.
The family heads to Julie's mother's house. Once there, the grandmother dresses Christy up as a bride, joking that she's going to marry Toby.
Mm-hmm.
Julie and Dennis go to bed, but awake in the night hearing a banging noise. Julie goes to investigate, but doesn't come back. Dennis grabs his trusty camera and goes investigating. He can't find anyone until he looks in an outbuilding and sees a coven of witches. He runs back inside the house and sees Julie levitating at the top of the stairs, but she is dead. She is thrown at him and he falls down the stairs, but grabs the camera and runs into the living room where he finds Christy. And they run into a cupboard and hide. He then runs out and finds Katie crouching in a corner, sort of like in the Blair Witch. He taps her on the shoulder, but she turns around, and the shock of her demonic face appears to send him shooting across the room. He's then dragged into the middle of the room and killed, and then the grandmother takes the children upstairs. That's Paranormal Activity 3.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I thought it was the best of the 3 that we've seen so far.
Yeah, well, it was, but no, I quite like the first one.
Right. Yeah.
This is
so you. I mean, it might sound completely off the cuff, listeners.
Yeah.
But let me let you into a little secret. We actually give some rough discussion topics to one another.
Yeah.
Depending on who's hosting the episode before we start recording.
Yeah.
And yours.
I'm hosting this one, by the way.
Yeah.
That's where I can't tell.
Your sort of topics suggested that you didn't like the start of the film.
Yeah.
Very much liked the middle of the film.
Yeah.
And intensely disliked the ending of the film.
Yeah.
Whereas I sort of was broadly interested in the start of the film, got bored during the middle, and then thought the ending was the best part of the series so far.
Really?
Absolutely.
You're wrong.
Right. Well, I'd love to know why.
Well, so let's start from the start.
Sure.
And take it away.
Sounds like as good a place as any to begin.
So I was furious 5 minutes in.
Okay.
Because here's another movie about Katie and Christy.
Mm-hmm.
And not just about them, but like they've been dead for some years now. And
objection. Katie's whereabouts are unknown.
Well, come on. Like, they didn't have to be in it.
No.
But here they are. And it's like, oh, here's some more.
It's basically entering Saw levels of retconning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
the premise of the 2 previous movies is you're piecing together 2 lifelong hauntings.
Right.
Using videotapes that you found, right? And
Sure.
it's just like a snapshot of that haunting. And you'd think that during those movies, they'd at least acknowledge that they have a huge box of videotapes of their lives growing up and the hauntings taking place. And I know what you're going to say, oh, but they don't have memories of their youth because their memories get wiped. Well, fucking shut up. We know that there was a fire in their youth and all their belongings were destroyed.
Yeah.
So why do they have these videotapes in the first place?
Right, so the videotapes come from their grandmother, who they say has recently died. And so
she's been holding the videotapes.
She's had the videotapes. It's been sent as inheritance to Katie.
And she's only just received it.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't know what to do with these. Can I store them in your basement?
Well, since you have no memory of your childhood, why don't you watch them?
Yeah, that's true.
Wouldn't it be good to relive some of it?
But do they realise they don't have any memories, or is it just sort of like a cloudy? Oh, I'm not sure. I don't really remember.
Right.
Like, is it like, oh, I cannot for whatever traumatic reason remember a huge chunk of my childhood, or do they realise it's missing?
Keep that in mind. We're going to come to that question. So the question you're asking is there a part of their childhood which they've just blanked out, right?
Yeah.
That's an important question, and I want to address it.
Okay.
But let's do it in order.
Sure.
So you're basically giving it a pass that they have boxes and boxes of videos.
I mean, it's silly. Obviously, it's silly.
If I was the police looking at the footage, you've already established in earlier episodes of Incompetent, I'd say, well, let's look at those videos. Let's find those videos.
Yeah.
Let's probably have more.
But what you're forgetting is that this isn't a sort of post-investigation movie like the first two are. This is like something else because it's
right.
It begins with home video of Paranormal Activity 2 family, and then those tapes go missing, and then suddenly we're watching the tapes, which implies that we're with whoever stole them for whatever reason. But
that is the implication. Yeah,
but that's not, like what would have been more clever, which obviously they didn't do at the time because they hadn't written Paranormal Activity 3, would be to have the tapes
in the movie,
in the previous film.
Yeah.
So like in Paranormal Activity 2, you have the whole, can I leave these tapes here? Yeah. And then they go missing and they're like, that's weird. But it's never referred back to.
But it sets up the next film.
Yeah, exactly. And then, it's like, what was on those missing tapes?
Right. So why did you like the beginning? That's why I didn't like it.
I didn't dislike it. And the... I guess change of scenery, and it feels authentically like 1980s would feel like, I presume.
I thought differently because the quality on the cameras.
There's that. Remember, yeah, I mean it's HD and like crystal clear and everything. Yeah. But then I mean. Yeah, I agree.
Do you remember we used to go to like on holidays when you were a kid, and your parents they were recording to tape, remember?
Yeah.
So there would be a limited number of like minutes you could record anyway.
Yeah.
And then it'd always be this like when you watched it back, there'd be like a on the
like
mic.
tape warble type thing. Yeah. But I mean, I agree that it's not. And we've slated Blair Witch, the sequel, for having unrealistically high production values for its equipment.
Yeah.
But equally, no one would watch a 90-minute film that was actually shot on VHS.
I would.
Great. A film made for one man.
Just because the verisimilitude needs to be kept coherent.
That's a money spinner right there.
Yeah.
Did you know this is the most profitable Paranormal Activity movie? Or maybe not. It's the highest earning, at least.
Right, okay. But it probably also had the highest budget.
No, it didn't. It was a budget of 5 million, and it made over 200 million worldwide. Do you know what Ariel and Henry made before?
No.
They made Catfish.
Okay.
The documentary.
Right.
And this is their first, or was their first, fiction feature film. And they went on to do Paranormal Activity 4 as well.
Do they do the Catfish series?
They are, executive producers.
Right,
or
okay. They licensed it out kind of thing.
But it's quite an interesting sort of departure, I guess, in that respect.
Good filmmakers, though. It's not a terrible film. It's just it suffers badly from sequelitis, I think.
Right.
That's,
Please continue.
Okay, so they get to the middle part where I said it's actually not that bad.
Right.
Now, where it differs from the previous two is the characters in this are actually likable.
Yes.
And Dennis is, quite cheery and nice to watch. And
nice to see a film editor on the big screen as a hero.
Yeah, you're one, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you film yourself when you're editing?
Always.
I noticed he does a lot of that.
In fairness, I would if I was being haunted.
Yeah, fair point. They didn't do anything weird, annoying, or stupid, specifically. Mm-hmm. And I cared about the plight of the couple, and the kids weren't irritating. So that's big plus points for me. Yeah.
A lot of that is done quite elegantly in sort of shorthand, isn't it? Like, you care about their relationship because they're clearly in love, and I guess
he obviously cares for the children.
Like the sex tape thing and the smoking weed is like funny and sweet,
and making him jump out when she jumps out the cupboard. That's quite funny.
Right, that's funny. He's obviously a nice, caring individual because he's looking after the children of the woman that he's dating. Mm-hmm. They're not his children, and the kids are not unlikable. And like a lot of that is sort of just built into the film, as opposed to like you don't have scenes where it's like, oh, you're always so kind, you're such a nice guy, all my friends love you, etc. It's self-evident.
It's show don't tell. Now that's different from previous ones. In Paranormal Activity 1 we had Mika Sloat.
Correct. So,
God rest him.
May he rest in peace.
Who was just a douchebag, really, wasn't he? He's a bit jockey, bit entitled. Mm-hmm. Then in the other one, I don't remember the guy's name, the dad figure who was just like a fat nerdo who was like had a point to prove all the time.
Yeah, looked like Sebastian Gorka.
Yeah. I mean, this one, like we said, they're quite nice. And the best bit of the whole film was obviously the oscillating camera, which it tracked to the left, and you see something happening. It tracks to the right. It tracks to the left. It's much more interesting than what I've always complained about in the previous ones, which is just a static image, like a Where's Wally thing.
Right.
When suddenly a door will slam.
Sure.
In this one, you actually get things moving around, and you know part of the fun. And I mentioned this with last week when we talked about Brawl and Cell Block 99. I said I found myself in this movie, Paranormal Activity 3, leaning forward and grinning because I knew something was going to happen, and that's quite exciting. Yeah. And it was this particular thing with the ghost sheet.
Yeah. So that's one of the best scenes in the film.
Yeah, it's probably the best, right? Because it pans left. It pans right, and every time it pans, the ghost moves.
Yeah, it's very finely choreographed, which it needs to be, but it is very well done. Like the how cleanly and sort of. I mean, like, you know, it's all going to happen. Like, you could. The second you see the person in the sheet, you're like, all right, well, they're going to like sneak over. Yeah. But it's like there's a pleasure to be taken in watching it play out exactly as you expect. Yeah. And then, you know, the sheet, the way the sheet falls to the floor, which, by the way, The Conjuring like ripped wholesale.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very nicely done, I thought. Yeah. And similarly, the which again is the panning camera, as you were saying, when the kitchen stuff falls from the ceiling. Yeah. Because I don't know about you, but it is. So what happens is that the mother is in the kitchen, and then there's a knock at the door. We follow her all the way over to the door. And then no one's there. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, fine. And the camera pans all the way back to the kitchen, and she's like stopped in sort of like confusion. Yeah. But like for whatever reason, I just like I couldn't tell what
was different.
Yeah. I was like, what? I know something uncanny, is different. Right? Yeah. But I can't tell what. And then obviously it all like falls from the ceiling. Yeah. And that's a like dramatic and intense, like frightening moment. Yeah. And it's very well played. Like all of the scares I think are done pretty well, including the Bloody Mary sequence. Yeah. So I think the bed sheet, the Bloody Mary sequence and the kitchen stuff are like, I guess those are sort of before the ending, which we'll get to in a minute, I feel. Yeah. Those are the sort of three tentpole scares of the middle part of the film. Yeah. And they're all really effectively done.
Yeah, I agree with that. Which brings us to the end.
Yeah.
So we said at the time of recording Paranormal Activity 1 that one of the strongest points about it was the lack of explanation.
Okay.
And you don't mean there's no like, this is the demon Pazuzu, right? Right. But we also said the worst part of that film was when it did stray into the dusty book territory. Because there's sort of like there's a suggestion that it's a demon or a pact is made. And the same applied to the sequel, Paranormal Activity 2, where there was more or less literally a dusty book and the beginnings of an explanation, which was that some woman earlier on, generations before in their family, traded the firstborn son's soul for wealth and fortune. Yeah. But the twist being it took ages for them to have a son. Yeah. And Christie's was the first son to be born, and that's what started it all off, right? Right. Why that means they have to take the pool cleaner out and scare everyone, I have no idea. Because it's a pact maybe the devil or whatever, or a demon. Yeah. So, fucking bullshit. But so
That was the setup for the first two.
But that was like the best and worst parts was the explanation. And now you've got like, they're kind of going, oh no, there's a coven of witches. It's like, well, what's that about?
Well, I mean, to me, it's not a giant leap from sort of demons, etc., to, cult / coven of witches. Yeah. And my feeling on the ending was that it like totally redeemed what was otherwise a fairly generic, those high points aside, a fairly generic movie. And elevated it, substantially above, I think, the other two. Although the first one is good, but it's sort of good in the context of itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas... Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, sort of found footage films are at their best when they're showing you, like, a really narrow point of view on a wider event. with very limited external knowledge.
Like Cloverfield,
like Blair Witch Project, you know, like what you were saying about not knowing too much. And I think we differ on how much... I guess I'm not sure I agree with you in the sense of how much you're suggesting has actually been revealed. Like, I get that this ending implies there's like a sort of cult involved.
Like, whereas before it was like, this is a potential explanation which is years and years before you're born, nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Now it's saying, no, the perpetrators are active right now.
Right. Well, I mean, firstly, the perpetrators, this is back in the 1980s, so it's not necessarily the same. But the for me, it still felt like Dennis is in no way equipped to deal with this situation. And in that respect, it still feels like that found footage, Blair Witch, scary thing. Like, it gets to the point where you're like, just put the camera down, obviously. As it does with every found footage film.
Yeah.
That's a problem that they're yet to solve. Yeah. But I think the scenes where he's like going through the house and everything's slightly off, you're not sure why. Then he goes to the garage and opens the door and there's a like horde of people in there.
Yeah.
That's scary. And then suddenly like the tables are completely turned from, you know, there might be a spooky ghost to there's like a cult like here now and they are likely going to kill you. And that's quite frightening because Dennis has no idea. Like we, the audience, know, like you say, that it's alluded to in the previous film and you can put the pieces together that this is a cult worshipping some sort of demon and someone somewhere in the family history has made a pact, right?
Right.
Dennis doesn't know any of that. And to him, what's happened is he's gone to his mother-in-law's house and woken up in the middle of the night. His wife's disappeared. His kids have disappeared. And now there's a horde of people in the house trying to kill him. Yeah. Like, that's frightening. That is a scary situation.
Yeah.
And I think that the film efficiently communicates all that sort of panic. And, you know, like, it gets a bit lame. Like, I sort of like the back-breaking thing in spite of myself.
Right.
Like, okay. I don't really like it, but also it's not the worst.
No. The 15-year-old in you loves it. Right?
Yeah, like, it's just it's stupid because you're like, who is doing this and what?
Yeah.
Like, you know. But I just like the ending of the film because it just ramps it up and turns the series. You know, you think about the endings of the previous films, I think it feels like they build up to sort of the point where they have nowhere to go. And the first one ends with, depending on what version you watch, like a sort of annoying, disappointing, a man gets thrown at a camera.
Yeah.
And the second one ends with Katie walks around the house killing people and you're watching it from like CCTV cameras and it's not very involving. Whereas this is suddenly very like dynamic and
puts you in
engaging and, you know, frightening.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it elevated it for me above the other two.
Number of questions though, or number of points, I guess. One is, we've often said in the past that movies like The Witch or Kill List, the strength of those is in the ambiguity.
Yeah.
You don't know whether something paranormal is happening or whether it's just in their imagination. I mean, it may be asking too much of Paranormal Activity to say that it should have
is there any paranormal activity?
Yeah, but there's clearly Paranormal Activity. So we already know that from the first movie. So it's like there is definitely a demon or a ghost in this house and haunting this family.
Sure.
But then to say, oh no, it's actually also people you need to be wary of. Like, I'd rather it was one or the other. You know what I mean?
I do.
It sounds like I'm just nitpicking. But
no,
really
I do sort of know what you mean.
It muddies the water a bit.
I do sort of know what you mean, but it does also, I think, completely reframe what you're afraid of in the space of 5 seconds when he opens that door.
Only if you're afraid of old ladies.
No, but like it reframes the threat, doesn't it? It's no longer a sort of, you know, a spectral presence, and now it's people, like, you know, a group of people, and it's not quite like. I think all that sort of contextual stuff is only there in the previous films. So like within the context of this film, it stands up to that test of, you know, does he know too much, and like, is it still scary if you know too much, etc.
Right.
Because Dennis doesn't. Yeah. And I think this is the first ending that's made me look forward to seeing the next film.
Yeah. It just left me with a lot of questions. Like, why did they get the videotapes, which included their parents having sex, and why? Yeah. But remember earlier when I said, here's a question, right? Yeah, we put a pin in your question, which was, have they blanked out certain parts of their childhood? Okay. Or do they just know that they've forgotten? Surely you remember having parents.
Yeah. Has it ever been addressed though? Can they not just be orphaned?
Well, yeah, but they must go, oh, well, do you remember that time we went to Grandma's house and our parents both died?
Yeah, but like, you're assuming that they do have memories of that, which they might not.
In which case they'd say, I don't remember having parents.
Well, yeah, but when has there been there's not been a discussion in one of the films of like, let's all talk about our parents. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, okay, here's my point, right? Right. Either these two sisters would say, we have no memory of our parents, and then they get sent a box of videos of their youth, which has stuff like, this is us, your parents, all over it. And they say, let's not bother watching this.
Well, that's clearly not, like, the answer isn't that they don't remember having parents. I don't think. I in the dark recesses of my memory, I think that maybe the idea is that the fire killed their parents, right? So basically what's happened is that they've been brainwashed to think that this thing that killed their parents was a fire, as opposed to Grandma's cult.
Yeah. You see my problem?
Yeah, but then also, you know, I don't know of an organic way that would have come up.
Not making a film.
Great idea.
Great bit of film, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they shouldn't have made the film. How to Survive. Don't do the film.
Well, How to Survive, you mentioned it. And I think it's time to discuss it. So have you found yourself living in the 80s, 88 in America, in California? Yeah. Cruising down Hollywood Boulevard.
As they do so often in this film.
Yeah. Through the valley. Yeah. The vineyards, and down at the Muscle Beach, pumping iron and bone. bumping oldies on your cellular phone. Right. Cruising down the street.
My first idea is, similar to Micah in Paranormal Activity.
I believe it's Mika.
Mika, sorry. Similar to Mika, may he rest easy.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
Yeah, in Paranormal Activity, Dennis ends up antagonising the old demons, doesn't he? Because, as we know, the demons don't like being filmed.
Yeah, that's established. But the problem is it's established 25 years in the future. Yeah.
As I said, Dennis isn't aware that you can annoy the demons, right? Also in the film, Randy plays Bloody Mary, right? That goes badly. So the headline for my survival idea is, stop doing things to directly invite more paranormal activity upon yourself. Yeah. Unwittingly or otherwise.
So Bloody Mary especially.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Like we have a suspicion that the house is haunted. So don't be like,
let's do this thing that invites ghosts into the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As they say in Paranormal Activity 2, the standard advice for this situation is to ignore it and it will go away.
They even try that in this movie.
Yeah. Which is probably the best defense against it. Yeah. Until they play Bloody Mary and invite it right back in. Yeah. So do that. Don't film yourself. I really hope the people in Paranormal Activity 4, Joe, they don't film themselves.
Well, it's all just maybe
the lineage of this family and their access to like high quality video recording equipment is quite incredible.
I'd like it to jump back to the 70s so that it's all done on like reel-to-reel projection.
Yeah. So that's basically it. Is just don't don't do things that encourage, like, don't, when people are misbehaving and other people go, oh, don't encourage them.
Yeah.
Don't encourage them.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't keep them coming back for more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freeze them out.
Don't strap a video camera to your Ouija board, take it into the bathroom, turn the lights off,
shout
say Bloody Mary 3 times.
Yeah.
Draw a pentagram on yourself.
Yeah.
Whilst,
but also, as counter to that, I guess, do all the things that drive them out.
Yeah.
Burn loads of parsley.
Yeah. Ignore them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. Okay. So if there's an emergency in your house, what do you do? First thing.
Phone the police.
Well, the house is on fire. You're dead.
Right. Well, you didn't
say
the
emergency.
nature.
No.
Right. Sorry. Assess the nature of the emergency.
Right. Okay. Next.
What is the nature of the emergency?
It doesn't matter. There's a
right.
protocol
Okay. Well,
to
phone
follow.
the emergency services if necessary.
You're dead. Burned to death.
Great. Get out of the house.
Right. That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
First of all, what do you do before that, though? Raise the alarm. You
Right.
raise the alarm. You say, everyone, there's a burglar in the house, or everyone, there's a fire, or everyone, there's a ghost in the house.
Yeah.
Everyone out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That unreasonable advice?
No. So you're getting out of the house, getting the kids out, etc.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Garden.
Just
out of the house.
What? So the demon can't get you in the
We've
car?
never seen anyone attacked in their garden in this movie.
We've seen pool cleaners go mental.
That's the pool and the garden.
Oh, right. Sorry, mate. Jesus.
My point is this.
Yeah. What is your point?
Just make sure everyone's aware of the threat. Because if the house is on fire, and I was like, well, I don't want to worry my wife. I'm not going to wake her up and tell her because I don't want to worry her. You'd probably say I was mental. And here we are, a man who has proof that his house is haunted, video evidence, and probably has had first contact with it at some point, or at least his trusted advisors have had first contact.
Yeah.
Sorry, what I mean is they've had an encounter of the first kind with it. That's
I think third. It goes up in severity.
So first kind is sight, second kind is
communication, maybe,
and third kind is shake hands,
contact, and then like fourth kind is abduction. I think. So
he's had contact with the
aliens,
with the malignant spirits.
Yeah,
old Randy, and he's like, I've been attacked. Here's a scratch.
The third kind,
and here's video evidence, right? And he goes, no, I'm not going to tell my wife. I think it's too much for her to take in. Madness.
Well, no, he doesn't. He doesn't not tell her. What he does is desperately tries to tell her, but his wife's having none of it because the kids are so upset, and like she thinks that he's like making them talk about it, and he's brought it all into the home and everything,
right?
And she doesn't want any part of it.
But you know what? In that situation, no, really. I mean,
were you not watching the scene?
Yeah, but
this is exactly what happens. He goes, no, listen, this is really important. And she's like, no, I'm drawing a line. I'm putting my foot down.
That's an unreasonable person.
As a married man, Joe, I'd get used to it.
Why?
Well,
my house haunted.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what happens when you get married?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
So, so your advice is basically go, no, really though, watch the video.
Yeah. Make the case.
What is that to do with the emergency services stuff?
But it's not. You brought emergency services.
No.
I never brought them up. I've got it written down here. Raise the alarm and get out of the house. Nothing about call the police.
Okay, fine. Get out of the house. Yeah. So are you just going to sleep in the garden? Yeah. Where are you going to stay?
Hotel.
Yeah. Yeah? Not any relatives' house? No?
Don't want to.
No? Why not?
Because it might be haunted.
might be in a coven.
Yeah. No, I see your point. Although it's a bit rich, isn't it? That the coven leader, the grandmother, to be like, don't worry, they'll be around here any minute.
Yeah.
It's like, what if they just went to a hotel?
Yeah.
What if they went out of town? Or went to any of the other family members? Yeah. He must have family.
You know when she's going like, I'm not sure he's right for you. You know, that sort of thing. And she's going like, you sure about him? You know, I'm not sure you're right and all this sort of thing. Do you think after that she went home and went, well, I tried. Guess he's going to be murdered by a cult then?
Yeah.
If anything, he asked for it.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note, my second survival idea is for old Dennis, running a production company. Now, obviously, today, if you work for a production company, as some of us do, it's all digital media. There's very little in the sense of wear and tear that you can get on SD cards and the like. Although it does happen, you know, they can physically fall apart, and also they
put
can
it through a
become
magnet or something.
unreadable or whatever. Back in those days, of course, it was all tapes, VHS tapes and everything. He's going through 3 6-hour tapes every 6 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So
he's got 3 cameras running.
Yeah, he's got 3 cameras running. Now,
and that's 6 hours. How do you know 6 hours? Did he say that?
He says 6 hours, I think.
Right.
Yeah, they last about 6 hours.
Old VHSs used to be 520, which is 5 hours, I think. But he might have an extended play. That's fine.
What, 520 minutes? That's a domestic VHS was like 180, wasn't it? Which is 3 hours. But I think in the film he says 6 hours. Is how long the tapes last. So otherwise you'd have to get up at night and change them and stuff. That would be annoying. But anyway, now the wear and tear on those tapes is going to be substantial, because even if you're filming a wedding, it's unlikely that you're going to be filming 18 hours of footage. Yeah.
A long wedding.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Or, you know, 3. I guess if you had 3 cameras running, you might burn through 3 6-hour tapes, but you'd have to be filming like constantly, and you'd need 2 other camera operators. Yeah. So it's unlikely, because it seems to just be him and Randy, right? Now, as I said, the mother is sort of trying to go, are you sure Dennis is right for you? Yeah. And part of the reason is because he's not rich. Yeah. Now, no wonder he's not rich, because tapes, like, you know, obviously they're expensive now. They would have been cheaper back then when they're being mass produced. Yeah. But that's like an outgoing that he should really not. Is he like claiming that under his tax, do you think? Like,
right, he's writing it off his business expense.
Oh, there's this wedding business that's burning through like 600 tapes a month. Now that seems like money laundering to me or something. There's something not right about that. He's going to have the IRS coming up to his door. Like, physical media deteriorates, especially tape, because it's thin, you know, material.
You've got to store it as well, man.
Yeah, well, I presume what he's doing, though, is cycling through, you know, 2 sets of tapes, right? Or whatever. But that's going to become less and less clear.
Evidently not, because we get at least 3 weeks of footage.
Yeah, but I mean, in the fullness of time, it's going to end up deteriorating. Like, how many knackered old VHSs did you have when you were a kid growing up, where you re-recorded stuff over and over and over again?
Yeah, and you end up seeing like the thing
ghosts
you recorded.
You see ghosts on the screen, on the images. Right, yeah. Basically, it's no wonder he's got no money, because he's like spending surely vast amounts of money on tapes every week.
Because he's not recording just at night; it's during the day as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So 3 cameras. Yeah, running. What? So that's four tapes a day.
The electricity bill as well, because they're not going to be running on batteries. You can't run 6 hours on batteries on old VHS cameras. That's
got to be running on the mains, surely.
Yeah, exactly. So your electricity bill's shooting up. It's not best practice. That's all I have to say about that. And
right, I've just done a quick calculation.
Okay.
So he's got 3 cameras.
Yeah.
6-hour tapes. Mm-hmm. That's 4 tapes a day across 3 cameras.
Yeah.
How many in 3 weeks? Let's assume this takes place over 3 weeks. And we see the footage from week 1 to week 3, so he's not writing over them. Bear that in mind. So he's got at least this many tapes.
I want to try and work it out now. So it would be, hang on, 60 times 4 plus 12. Right? No. Yeah? 60 times 4 plus 12. So, is it 252?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done.
There you go. It's like a beautiful mind.
252, yeah. So that's 252 tapes.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I mean, I don't know how...
And he's got to go and change them every 6 hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's labour intensive, isn't it? Yeah. And then he's got to scrub through them as well to where is he storing the? Like, he must have backup tapes. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless he is buying a new tape like every 6 hours.
But he has to because
there's no digital backups.
No.
So unless he's got like giant magnetic tapes, this is insane.
252 tapes just for 3 weeks of footage.
Unless what he's doing is, he takes the tapes out, scrubs through them. If there's like a light fitting moving in the breeze or whatever, he like clips it out and then records that onto another tape.
Right. So what we see is the already edited version.
Let's not
forget as well the camera that he's got in the editing room filming himself editing.
Yeah.
That's a fourth camera.
Yeah, because it doesn't appear that that's one off the... Oh no, it might be one that he carries from the bedroom because we see him setting it on the tripod and taking it back up again.
Still, minimum 252.
Yeah, it's a lot of tapes. So basically, you might be rich if you don't waste all your money on tapes.
That's like 1988's version of you could buy a house if you didn't buy so much avocado.
Right, exactly, yeah. These millennials buying VHS tapes.
Generation X's. Okay.
Any final thoughts from you?
A couple of ideas there. First of all, in Paranormal Activity 1, you may recall I said that Katie's actions verge into criminal negligence because she knows she's haunted, doesn't tell Mika, and it results in his death.
Yeah, I mean, I posited that you... if your now wife told you that, you would just dismiss it because you don't believe in ghosts.
That's fine, but if my spouse had video evidence of something happening, and also eyewitness testimony and physical proof that there was a haunting happening in my home, I'd at least want to know about it.
Right. Yeah.
Because Randy, as much as you said, she doesn't want to hear about it. If Randy walked in and said, look at this scar, she's not going to go, no, don't want to hear about it. She'd say, well, how did you get that scar?
Yeah.
And he'd say, well, come and I'll show you this video.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So what's your point? The same as what you said for Paranormal Activity 1.
My point is, what's his name? Dennis has a duty of care.
Right.
So
he's got to just carry her out the house if he needs to.
If he has to.
Yeah.
If it takes that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I asked a lawyer friend who said, in the law of negligence, if the defendant's conduct took the form of an omission rather than a positive act, then it would be more difficult to establish that she owed a duty of care to the plaintiff. However, the rationale is that a positive duty is more onerous to fulfill than a negative duty, and therefore limits more severely the liberty of the duty bearer.
Right.
And if you don't understand what that means, I don't.
You need a law degree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for that reason, I'm going on to my next point.
Okay.
Well, it came up earlier, which is just to notice if your family members are dead.
Right. Okay.
Casey and Christy.
Yeah.
Must know they had parents at some point.
Right. I see. I thought you were going to say Dennis when his wife's at the top of the stairs.
Levitating.
Yeah.
No, just the kids go, well, we had parents at some point and now we don't.
Okay.
Where did they go?
Right. How's that going to help them survive?
Because then they'll go, well, we always wondered where our parents are. And then we get sent a box of videos with our parents.
Better investigate it, right? Better look into all this cult stuff, this paranormal stuff.
No, I'm saying...
Good. Maybe we should draw a few pentagrams on a notepad because we've seen it in the background of one of the videos.
What I'm saying is...
Maybe we should research it. Maybe we should set up cameras around our house because we might capture something going on. So this is how it starts, Joe. No. This is the sort of thing that you need to be aware of.
If they had the question in their minds of what happened to our parents, which they would, I think, and then someone that sent them a box of tapes that were like, this is what happened to your parents.
Yeah, parent murder tapes.
Yeah, exactly. Sex tapes and murder tapes.
Yeah.
You'd watch them and they'd go, well, this is fucking freaky. Let's definitely move out of our house and split up.
Right. Great.
Paranormal Activity 3 is survived.
Yeah, are you looking forward to Paranormal Activity 4?
No. Do you know what it's about?
I can have a guess.
Got Katie and Chrissy.
Probably.
Well, they're dead.
They're not dead. Katie's whereabouts are unknown.
And she's now got the baby and possibly the tapes.
Exactly.
Oh, how
looking forward to finding out.
God almighty.
And if you've seen Paranormal Activity 3 or 4 or one or two, then email address is howtosurviveshow@gmail.com. Or if you haven't seen them, if you want to suggest a film, if you want to make a comment about any of our previous films that we've covered, then that is the email address, howtosurviveshow@gmail.com. You can also get in touch on Twitter @howtosurvivepod and Facebook, facebook.com/howtosurvivepod.
Quite right. Next week, what's coming up? We're going way back to the Wild West, Jim West.
Yeah.
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 True Grit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your favourite film?
Ever.
A little wedding present.
Yes. Thanks. It's only 3 weeks late.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Awesome.
Week after that, your favourite film?
Just to make it clear, it's True Grit, the 2010 Coen Brothers version.
Yeah. We don't want John Wayne. Real name was like Marion or something, wasn't it? Don't like that, mate.
Great. Week after that, as you said, it's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So we've got a couple of Western films.
Your favourite movie ever?
I haven't. The last time I watched it, I thought it was the best film that I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it since.
It's interesting that we both, in that category, have Westerns.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Despite being born in the 90s in the UK.
Well, it's because we're nostalgic for a time when men were men.
Yeah.
And you could get out on the old dusty plain without being tied down by the old ball and chain.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's what I tell my wife every single day.
Yeah. So
it's quite weird saying that because I'm not actually married yet when we're recording this.
Spoilers, mate. It's live. It's going out live.
Yeah.
Wherever you're listening to it, that's when we're doing it.
Yeah.
What? Great. How to Survive next week. True Grit. And until then,
go on. Give me a quote from Paranormal Activity 3. Memorable moments, mate.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Bloody hell, mate. That's what this is.
Whoa! Top stuff there.